Avenue, and then we'll take it higher.
Booyah, and it's time for the Game Sports Show. It is yours truly, David McCaig. It is July the 8th, 2018. It is Sunday, and we're recording the show on a special edition of the show, and it's a new debut special edition, I'm going to call it. As for the next 8 weeks, we have added another piece to our address, to our home. We're at Silver Creek Golf Course here in Sault Ste. Marie, and that adds to a total now of 4 homes for the Game Sports Show. That will probably go down to 3 in July, and then it's going to go back up to 4 when it comes September time. But I'm just going to get through the usual introduction portion before I get into that. And as I said, I'm live on location at Silver Creek Golf Course, and it is alongside with my usual two, Brad Cochmilio and Justin Heichel. And some of you are asking, what about the other usual one, Jamie Antonello? He is on the Wednesday show. This show is basically an attachment to the Boston Pizza show for the Thursday show where we talk baseball, hockey, and now we're bringing golf into the mix here on Sundays as well. And we are going to be either at Boston Pizza or at Silver Creek on Thursdays, and then we're either going to be at Silver Creek or Boston Pizza on Sunday. It's just going to be a week-by-week thing until the end of July, before in August we'll be here at Silver Creek every Thursday. And let me tell you, we're here at Silver Creek inside the clubhouse, and it's nice and homey in here. We got some great service in here, and yours truly was a little bit late walking through the door as Brad and Justin were on time. Yours truly was a little bit late, and my friends that know me know that I might be late getting to my own funeral, but you know what? It doesn't matter. We're here, and we're about to have a great time talking sports, and what's better than talking sports? There's nothing better than talking sports. Now, continuing the introduction portion of the show, as I mentioned, Silver Creek are one of our new homes, adding to the list of homes here on the Game Sports Show, and obviously being a part of the sponsors for the Game Sports Show, where you can enjoy some great golf, 18 or 19 holes of golf, and they're going to be taking over the trivia question responsibility as well. Unfortunately, that will be starting next week, and with the trivia question throughout the entire summer, we have a trivia question on here, and when you submit the answer on our email or submit the answer on the comment section of the Podbean page or the website, you have a chance to win a free round of golf. Now, let me tell you, that's a pretty expensive round of golf. That is about $50 for the round of golf. And, you know, I must give thanks to Jamie Henderson and thanks to Silver Creek Golf Course for bringing us on board, making it part of their family. Continuing the list of additional sponsors on the Game Sports Show, there's Boston Pizza, Sault Ste. Marie, Sports Center Bar and Grill, North Shore Sports and Auto, the Superior Pro Shop, the Salon, Discover the Canvas, Northern Critters in Need, Big Brother, Big Sister, and Ken Belange's KBX Hockey. Must also give a shout out to Northern Signs, one of our sponsors as well, which ties into our merchandise. You can purchase the merchandise on the website, www.thegamesportshow.com. $25 for a shirt, 100% of the proceeds go towards charities, Northern Critters in Need and Big Brother, Big Sister. Now, list of other two sponsors over in Sault Ste. Marie, Michigan, the Wicked Sister, and also to Pingator Cleaners. Now, just to give a quick little summary about the agendas of the show and how it's going to go. Every Monday, we are at with the Wicked Sister. That has not changed. It's myself, Scott Neeson, EJ, and Butch Davis. They're going to be there every Monday, and that is a full 2-hour show that we do live on air for an hour and a live podcast. And throughout the summer, it's 2 hours podcasted. And then on Wednesdays, Sports Center Bar and Grill, myself, Jamie Antonello, and Dustin Gronin, and sometimes Justin Heichel, when I guess he feels like it, is there. And that is from September until May, every Wednesday, and from May until August, it is every second Wednesday. Then, as I said at the top of the show here, we're going to be splitting Boston Pizza and Silver Creek either on Thursday or Sunday for the month of July, before doing full-time here at Silver Creek for the month of August. And then September, we have a brand new location that we already have already and all finalized, but I'm going to keep it a little teaser, and I'm not going to state what that is. Only certain people are going to know what that is, and that'll be in September. And just so I don't confuse anybody else anymore, I won't talk about locations because there's a lot, and there's obviously a lot of sponsors here on the Game Sports Show. Now, follow us on the GameSportsShow.podbean.com. You can listen to previous episodes of the game. You can also keep in touch with ourselves there and keep in touch with the news, and also make sure that you keep in touch with the Game Sports Show's updates. And make sure you follow the website, www.thegamesportshow.com. Now, without further ado, this is still messing me up, fellas, the people who are to my left and right. Again, you guys are trying to throw me off here, but guess what? Even though I got a lot of sun today, I'm going to tell you right now that it's not going to change anything. The guy to my right, Justin Heichel. The guy to my left, Brad Cochmilio. I'm going to slide over to the left first. The guy with the beautiful hair. The guy with the sunglasses backwards on top of his Memorial Cup hat today. He looks good, though. He looks fly. He's always smiling. He's got the best smile in the biz. And he even had the pitchers of beer ready for myself. Well, I guess I should give some credit to Justin for that as well. But the one and only, from Sioux today, Brad Cochmilio. How are you, buddy?
Good. See, Dave is so worried about who sits on his right, who sits on his left. There was an easy solution to that. He didn't realize he could have just sat on the other side of the table, and everything would have been okay.
I didn't even think of that.
See?
I didn't even think of that because for some reason...
Someone's got to be the brains of the operation. It might as well be me.
It's you or Justin. I think that's a battle.
It's a scary thought.
It is.
It's a scary thought, but...
It's you or Justin. It's you or Justin. Justin, speaking of, you got the best beard. He shaved his head, though, a little bit. I think you got a haircut since I last saw you.
Yes.
Did you? You did?
Sure.
I noticed that.
You have a hat.
Look at that. I caught on to that. Even though you have a hat on, your gray hat as usual, as I mentioned. It's a different gray hat than from Friday. But your glasses are right ways where Brad's are backwards.
I don't know what the focus of the glasses is today. I mean, whatever. I mean, maybe you did have a little bit too much done on the bullet today. But, no, it's good to be here. A nice balmy 30 degrees out today.
Yep.
Definitely a nice change of scenery, though.
Yep, it's nice, and Silver Creek definitely welcomed us with open arms. And usually we're going to be out on the patio, but today, given the kind of the winds, even though it's hot, given the winds, we don't want to mess up any kind of broadcast. There's our microphone here. Our nice fancy microphone courtesy of Andrew Nathan Tree. You know, we're trying to perfect everything, and we know Friday's recording. We got a lot of good feedback with that, so that was awesome. And we're trying to continue to make that better in terms of quality, as this microphone is top notch. Just yours truly sometimes isn't top notch when it comes to the techie stuff with the microphone. So we are still learning. The guy who is the one only with the microphone, I got to shout out to Scott Nason, the board operator, who is the techie guy, who will show me some stuff tomorrow, how to make this even more perfect than what it already is. But fellas, we're going to dive right into the agenda of the show tonight. We're basically going to continue from the show on Friday from Boston Pizza. Not like continue from where we left off at the end of that show, but we're going to jump into those points that we've already talked about, touch on things that we didn't have time to touch on, and some things that have happened since those last few days, and we're going to get into that. And it's just going to be hockey talk today, just for the opening show here at Silver Creek. We're usually at Silver Creek, we're going to be talking baseball and golf and hockey, as I mentioned, as golf's now going to be tying into our hockey and our baseball show. But today I feel that sticking, based on the time, we only have an hour here tonight, that we are going to stick to just hockey, and then going forward we'll have all three segments. And then obviously next week I'll have my Renegades update. We know what that is. I won't get into that. And tonight the Renegades are in action at Ram Field at 8 o'clock. So if you want to come out and watch some fast pitch baseball, and yours truly bat leadoff and hit a couple doubles or strike out, you can certainly come on check that. I almost found out I was pitching today. I almost found out
It must be hard up on the pitching staff.
We are short 4 guys today, and 3 of the 4 guys are starting pitchers.
You guys would, if you're going to be pitching, you might have a better shot if Justin and I come out. Yeah.
Oh, for real? If you see me throw a fastball, it's called a curveball. Not really a fastball.
This fastball's a slow version.
It's a very, very slow version. It's like a knuckleball. But fellas, we're gonna talk about Colin Miller re-signing, Alex Burrows retiring, Alexander Ovechkin showing up to the cup, showing with the cup at the World Cup. Make sure I said that slower and repeat. Leafs contracts in terms of Austin Matthews what is he gonna get? Nylander and Marner, as Babcock, as everyone saw that picture, has the Infinity Gauntlet on his hand now in terms of players. So we're going to jump into that, but kind of want to see everyone's take, because if you remember previously, about a year ago on the game, myself, Dane, Dustin, and Jamie, I believe yourself and Matt Buchan was there as well. I think it was about 6 of us on that panel that night. We were talking about Matthews, and I was told I was crazy for saying that Matthews is going to get $10 million, that I'm literally insane, you should book me into the insane asylum like off Batman. But we're going to jump into that because now we got Brad here to keep us level-headed. So I kind of want to see what your comments is on some of the contracts. I'm also going to talk about Patrick Maroon. He apparently is going to St. Louis bound. Pacioretty's rumors to Pittsburgh. The Bruins falling behind, and we're also going to jump into power rankings this offseason for the National Hockey League as well. And we're going to have only one break on the show, so we're going to go through random topics here and spitball, have a roundtable kind of talk with it. Free for all here today on the Silver Creek edition of the Game Sports Show, and then we'll have a break and we'll just jump on to things that we haven't touched on. So I'm actually going to make this kind of interesting. I'm going to slide over to Brad first, okay? Out of what I mentioned, I'll let you start what you think we should start off with here tonight.
You know what? Normally, being a media guy, I would say save the Austin Matthews talk for later. But I feel like we should jump into it now.
Okay.
I mean, jump into Austin Matthews. Jump into the contract situation. I mean, that's the Leafs contract situation as a whole is a very interesting one.
Yeah. Just
based on entry level deals coming up, and how high end some of the young guys are in that franchise.
Yeah.
I mean, that's an organization that. Their young players are very good.
Oh, yeah.
They're in a dream situation because of that. I mean, as far as Austin Matthews is concerned,
I get where people are coming from in terms of him coming out of his entry level deal and looking at a potentially big payday. I mean, I think this is a guy who will get paid big money, but when it comes to the potential of making $10 million a year, I almost don't know that he's there yet. He's a guy that, if he goes out this year and has, if he goes out and scores 45 goals and 95 or 100 points, yeah, you know what? That's a guy who's going to get $10 million. I don't know that. I mean, for me, I don't know that he's going to be a $10 million guy though. I mean, even if he does do that, I would almost be considering the contract situation with that franchise right now. I would be surprised if they offered him that much. Just considering the fact that you're looking at, your spread. At the end of the day, you have to spread that money around too, right? Like we're still in a salary cap era where you have to spread the wealth around. You're looking at Mitch Marner. You're looking at all these guys. Like, you've got other contracts coming up. It's not just Austin Matthews. So it's going to be a situation where I don't think he's going to be a $10 million a year guy yet. Yeah. I down the road, you know what? I could see him being a $10 million guy maybe in his second deal. He's going to be a guy that's probably going to wind up, he's probably going to sign a long-ish term deal. You're looking 5, 6, 7 years. But I don't think it's going to be in the $10 million range. I could see him being, like an 8, maybe 9 to start.
Matthews or Marner? This is Matthews.
Austin Matthews, yeah. I mean, Mitch Marner, I'm a fan of his game. Mitch Marner's probably going to be, his contract I think is going to be even a tier below what Matthews would get. Yep. And I mean, again, it comes down to juggling these contracts, right? I mean, we still got to look at the fact that John Tavares is taking an $11 million a year cap hit. And I mean, it's in the grand scheme of things when you're looking at, it's actually not that bad. When you're looking at the fact that the salary cap, let's say 2 years from now, might be $75 million.
Yeah, right now I
think it's around it went up. I'm not sure what the exact number is.
I'll get that. I'll get the producers to let us know.
Yeah, it's so I mean, it's a situation where, let's say the salary cap takes a huge jump next year. I mean, maybe we talk about, for me, maybe Marner or maybe Matthews rather turns into a $10 million a year guy, but I mean, there's just so much in terms of juggling contracts and, making them all fit in. So, for me, it's one of those things that, I mean, I don't think he's a $10 million a year guy. I mean, I think eventually he will be. If he were to go on the UFA market, when he turns 27, I think at that point, if he continues his career progression, absolutely, he's a $10 million guy without a doubt. But at this point, I don't think he's there yet.
No, I don't think he is either. And I know getting the things in the ears here from the producer. Call him Producer Ghost. That's our new thing. Just so you know, Producer Ghost when it comes to getting
not to be confused with Producer Tim.
No, I'm going to get produced with Producer Blank from Polique Blank. But the blank from Producer Ghost. He's telling me the 2018-2019 cap space is the upper limit is 79.5 and the lower limit is 58.8, and that's from Cap Friendly, is what he says. That's what Producer Ghost tells us. So right now I just popped that up quickly as you were talking about. You got the Chicago Blackhawks, who are only have $2 million in cap space at 77. They're the highest in the National Hockey League, with LA being basically tied with them. Same with Pittsburgh, being essentially just right there. And if you want to keep going down, Toronto's almost at the bottom of the list. Toronto has about 15,529,167 in cap space. So, it's they're the only teams behind them are Ottawa, the Islanders, Devils, Rangers, and believe it or not, the Jets. The Jets have $26 million in cap space, and they're actually under the cap right now. So I'm sure they can get themselves back up there. I'm sure they're going to be a team that's pretty active. But this is these are the Cap world. Toronto has been really great managing. I think I know what Dubas is going to do with it. I think I know he's going to put a lot. He's going to lean heavy on offense and in goal. And he's let his D flourish from within. I think that's what he's going to see. Dermott. You're going to see Timothy Legiron. You're going to see Riley, and Gardner won't be there after this year. And you know what? And I'll get to your comment with I'm sure you have something to say with Jake Gardner, but still trying to get him on the show. Actually, I sent my friend a message, and he said he's going to talk to Jake for me. So we might have Jake Gardner come on the show. So that'll be very interesting.
I think we'll be safe to have Justin and I do that interview, and maybe have David just
I'd say on the back,
not in the room.
I think Joe Bowen should take over for me that day.
Skype. Yeah.
I think Joe Bowen should take up for me that day. But anyways, getting to the question, Justin, I'm going to let you jump into the Austin Matthews topic first before me, because I kind of want to bring up some points. I feel like I'm just going to go to a different extreme with the Matthews thing, so I'm going to let you comment on that first.
I guess I'm okay with an astronomical two-digit, like $10 million contract.
Is he above
But-
10, though, or staying at 10?
But it all depends on the season he has this year. Because you've paid Tavares X amount of dollars, then if Austin Matthews' performance is equal to or greater than, then
That's a measuring stick.
That's his agent's number one arguing point going into that negotiation is going to be, well, you paid Tavares, he's taking an $11 million cap hit this year. Austin, I think, deserves the same. Maybe it wouldn't have as much term just because he hasn't, earned the 7 or 8 year term, but maybe the Leafs would want to max that out as well. You don't know. I don't see them trying to pull a Kadri where they give him some sort of bridge deal. Like, he's not going to have a season where he earns a bridge deal. I think maybe that's what you'd see with Nylander's contract negotiation this summer, is more of a Nazem Kadri style bridge deal.
Yeah.
It's like a 3-year, $15 million contract of sorts.
Yep.
That seems reasonable to me.
Yep.
I think it's safe to say that next year Marner is going to command JVR money just based on performance. I don't think
So he's more than Nylander is?
100%. Like, if you put the two performances beside each other, and I honestly think Marner has more upside than Nylander does. Like, just pure playmaking upside. I think Nylander's got skill, don't get me wrong, but if you're going to pay one of them and you want one of them to be a little happier than the other, I'd like to have Marner in my corner more so than Nylander. He seems to have the down home Southern Ontario, we got to win this for Toronto mentality, where Nylander's he appears and disappears. Brad and I were talking about this before, and I was a little shocked in all the articles I'm reading how everyone's saying to trade Nylander, get rid of Nylander, etc., etc. But the more you hear it, the more you start to think he wasn't really around in the playoffs. He does disappear for streaks.
People said Matthews was disappearing.
I don't
Not
think
fair.
Matthews was all there. And to another token, what 20-year-old kid is going to stand up against the Boston Bruins in the playoffs? Really, when the rest of the team, aside from Jake Gardner, totally collapsed against the Boston Bruins, and you're expecting some 20-year-old kid to pull it together.
The Gardner
Not
Expressway.
everyone can hold it down and lead like Jake Gardner did.
Oh, yeah. Hold it down and let him plus minus on the minus department, and in worst game played in the history of the Maple Leafs jersey.
Maybe he's just a big fan of Dave McKegg.
I know especially if he comes on the show, if that works out, he's gonna listen to some old shows, and he is gonna rip me. Like, he's gonna just say, "Where'd you play?" That's all he has to say to me. To be honest with you, I played for 3 Algoma region teams in the NOJHL.
Or just listen to Joe Bowen rip you on plus minus.
Oh God! But now jumping into my comment with the Austin Matthews thing, I said a year ago that Matthews will not get more than $10 million. And I remember Dane telling me, who is a member on the show, and for some new listeners who are tied with Silver Creek, and I know there's a lot of loyal listeners that we have, so thanks for that, obviously. But people have known that I've said that Matthews will not get above $10 million. I really don't think so. I'm not saying I like your point about now you're going to have to really see how he matches up against John Tavares in terms of number or points, and even playoff performance. that's going to jump in. And then you got to look at leadership role. Does Austin step up to the plate, be more of a leader now because he wants to be that captain for the Toronto Maple Leafs? Or is that C going on John Tavares' jersey either way? And that's another thing we can get to another time. We've kind of already touched on Friday, but we can talk about that near the end of the show if you'd like. But with Matthews, if he gets more than $10 million, I'd be extremely surprised. There would just be. I just feel like he has eligibility to be an RFA. Okay, he can take a 3 to 4 to 5 year contract before he's a free agent. He can get that money, then he might flock to Arizona. Who knows what's going to happen? So I really think that Austin Matthews will take a 5-year, $9 million deal. I really think he won't go north of 9. I think it's going to be a $45 million contract. Okay, that's what the total amount is going to be. And there'll be signing bonuses in there that will help fix the cap hit, because that's what Dubas will do in specialty. Then if you want to touch on the other contracts with Mitch Marner will not go above 6.5. I know people think I'm crazy. I actually think he's going to be at 6. I guarantee you he'll be at 6 years, $6 million, which is $36 million. Correct?
Some quick math there.
Yeah, thank you. You're a little impressed.
You thought about that one all weekend.
No, I did not.
We did the math on the way here. That's why he was late.
And then William Nylander is going to get basically the same, because I think Nylander is going to hit almost 60, 70 points this year, and I think he's going to get the exact same as Marner. They're going to get the same price, the same years, same everything. And I think they're going to both have signing bonus on top of that, which will also be adjusted towards the cap as well, because that's how Dubas is going to do it. So you're going to have Tavares at 11, you're going to have Matthews at 9, you're going to have the other two at 6, so it's going to be about $32 million in cap space for trying to be 4 guys. Okay, then you can't forget about Kadri, who's making only 4.5 right now. Morgan Riley's making 5. And he still has 3 or 4 years left in his deal. So Zaitsev is making 4.275 for the next half a dozen years. 6 years, which is absolutely, sorry, I'm going to say it, shitty for us, because he had an atrocious year last year. So, yeah, and then you're looking at, we have $15 million in cap space still, and that's with Anderson making 5. So we have $15 million in cap space, right? You touch Marner and Nylander in there, that's 12. If you go by my numbers. And then if you have Matthews on there, that's an additional 9, so that's $21 million. So you're moving out a guy who's making 5, Gardner. There you go.
Or Marlowe's falling off.
Or Marlowe's soon too. And there's 2 guys. You got Gardner and Marlowe. Thank you. I'm saying Gardner. I keep saying Gardner because, I think he's going.
I don't think he's going anywhere.
No, next year. I don't think they're going to re-sign him.
I don't.
You think they're going to re-sign him?
Yeah. Why wouldn't they? Where else are you going to find... Because every team in the NHL is just oozing to get rid of puck-moving defensemen. We have so many of these puck-moving defensemen.
That's the Kyle Dubas special.
We'll give you 17 of them just to get rid of them. It's not... You don't get a talent like that often, and it's very easy to focus on the bad. But if you let him go somewhere else, it's going to be a problem. I'm telling you.
Hear that first on the Game Sports Show. It's going to be a problem. I think it might be a relief. Oh, sorry, Gardner. Prove me wrong, please. I've been a disliker of Gardner and Cody Franzen were 2 guys. Franzen left, and I said that he wouldn't flourish elsewhere. Dane told me he'll be a stud. Where's he now? Not saying I'm right all the time, but different situation.
He left Ron Wilson, Peter Horachuk, whoever else was involved at the time.
Brandon Carlisle.
Cliff Fletcher casually wanders in and out of the locker room because he just doesn't know where he is anymore. And then he went to Buffalo.
Yeah.
He signed there, though. He signed there. He chose to go there.
Yeah, but he didn't...
But there's a bigger... Let's face it. There's a bigger difference. There's a bigger difference signing in Buffalo compared to signing with a good franchise. There's no other way to put it. Like, Buffalo is...
They're great. They're like Montreal. They're a great franchise.
He went from...
Yeah, that's exactly
They're greatly ran.
What I'm getting.
They're greatly ran. But no, just to say the point, the contract point before we veer off topic, it's simply put that the Matthews will not command over $10 million. And if he gets over $10 million, that's ludicrous because he's young still. I believe his most points is 69 or 70. I'll get producer Ghost to tell me that in just a few moments. I'm sure that he's typing away right now with that. But just based on his performance against Tavares this year is what's really going to kind of match it. And it seems like the points are coming into me. Just hold on 1 minute here. Nope, not yet. Okay. Oh, I do have it. Okay. The most he's had in the season, 69. 40 goals and 29 assists. This year he had 63 for 34 goals and 29 assists again in 20 less games. see the fact there's 20 less game, maybe he's averaging almost just under a point a game. He's getting 0.82 points a game. So if he plays additional 20 games, he's almost going to have 8 or 9 points on top of that. So this year he would have got over 70 if he played, if you want to look at that way. So this year if he comes in, he gets over 80 and Tavares gets over 80, he might, but I don't think he's going over 10. I just can't see it. It wouldn't make sense, and it would really cap the Leafs, though, let me tell you.
It doesn't, though. Again, look how Pittsburgh's been the example for years that it doesn't affect you. That you pay 1A and 1B, whatever they want. And Pittsburgh did it with substantially lower, cap ceiling. Like, they were doing it with Crosby and Malkin when the cap ceiling was in the $63 million range.
A lot lower than what it was now.
And they still, had Letang. They still had Fleury.
Yep.
They still had, and those guys they won the cups with. Like, they had a Hossel on the team at one point in time, which probably wasn't a very friendly number. Later on, I had Phil Kessel. You had, we can go on and on and on and on. Letang, or not Letang.
Letang's one Fleury. There was a couple guys there.
Like, just the wingers. Like, he was half a Canadian Olympic team at one point. Like,
James Neal,
yeah.
Chris Kunitz.
So, like, it's doable. It's just you really have to do your draft and development and watch your draft and development pull up from the minors, and then you got to maximize on those, like Tyler Ennis signings.
Yeah, well, only 1 year, $650K for that. It's actually not bad. That's a
Low risk,
very
high
good
reward.
Absolutely.
To go back to the Matthews idea and his numbers in his first 3 years, to put it into perspective, John Tavares' career 3 entry-level years.
This from producer goes through you.
No, this is for me.
This is you. Okay.
This is me.
Okay.
So he had 54 points in year 1.
How much?
54 points in year 1.
Okay.
Okay. 67 in year 2, and then he jumped to 81 in year 3. And 79.
What was his cap hit? $7 million this year?
Yeah.
$7 million.
He's
Different cap era too.
He's a guy who, let's face it. John Tavares is a guy who's essentially been, for nearly a point a game guy his whole career.
Yeah.
Like, he's just a very small shade under a point a game.
Same with
career.
Matthews.
But the biggest difference is John Tavares is almost 700 games in. John Tavares has earned
Yes, he has.
a $10 or $11 million a year cap hit, where Austin Matthews hasn't yet. As far as I'm concerned, he hasn't yet. And the difference is John Tavares played on some very bad New York Islanders teams. Austin Matthews is playing with I feel a lot more talent in Toronto than John Tavares played with on the island.
And it was an immediate impact,
So-
too, that the Leafs had.
On that topic, then, does Connor McDavid sign that gigantic contract in Edmonton, knowing that I'm going to be comfortable selling jerseys in Edmonton, but the team can't support me, so I'll just do McDavid stuff for my career, and the team can live in mediocrity?
What was that contract? 8 years, $13 million?
Like,
Is it 8 years?
Because then, to Brad's point, Tavares played on a pretty brutal Islanders team, but at a relatively reasonable rate.
Yeah.
McDavid's playing on an Edmonton team that's struggling to make things work, and he just decides to take it to the bank. That's not.
And they're screwed right now. And they also don't have good guidance in that office either with Chiarelli. Let's get real. They don't.
And
I thought he was a better GM.
That's not and just to touch on that, it's not a dig at McDavid, because his agent's doing what his agent's
One of the best
paid
agents.
to do
Pat
that.
Bresson? I think he has Pat Bresson. Yeah.
But that's you could take it as that, because McDavid was only 2 years on it. Was he 2 before when he signed that deal, or was he 3?
It was 3.
Sure, he was
Three?
3. Yeah, 3.
So,
Yeah.
same point as
Same thing. It's gonna be, you got to kind of factor in with that. If Matthews also kind of wants to win, I don't think he commands over 10. But fellas, moving on, we got one more. We'll bring up another topic before we go to our break, and when we come back, we have a couple more stuff we can discuss before we wrap up today's special edition show of Silver Creek in one of our new homes of the Game Sports Show. It's Dave McKagan alongside Brad Cochimilia from SuitOrDay.com and Justin Heichel from YourHeartBeingNumber1.com. Is that a website? I just made that up top of my head.
I don't even know what you said.
YourHeartBeingNumber1.com. Yeah, that's very weird. But anyways, I like being my random. I like doing that. I'll let you choose, Justin, the next random topic that you'd like to maybe bring up. I'm sure you have something you want to bring to the table.
Dave making things awkward, McKay.
Yes, I like that. Is that our topic?
Well, mean, we could go for days on this.
Yes.
I don't think
I'm sure we could have a call-in show about this. We're not
Who would lead the call-ins from our friends,
I
you
don't know,
think?
Dave.
You think Dustin would?
I don't know who would lead the call-ins. That might be
Dane maybe.
Dane.
Might be incriminating for the old kegger.
Yeah, I might have to retire.
Change his name. But yeah, I don't know. Let's talk about the Alex Burrows one. I mean,
Okay.
sure. It's kind of a shame how that ended with him going to Ottawa and having to deal with that disaster. And otherwise,
Maybe that's why
I would
you
love to
retired.
sign there.
well, I feel like
me
Ottawa
ask you
said
this.
we're just going to buy you. They put him on waivers to buy him. Out, didn't they?
Yeah, they did.
So,
If you had a choice between signing Montreal and Ottawa, where are you going? Rena, I'm going to ask you that. Speaking of Burrows and going to get stuck in
have
Ottawa,
I played the max amount of games to get my NHL pension?
you're a fourth-year vet.
Have I played the max amount of games to get my NHL pension?
No.
Then I have to go to one of them.
So where are you going?
Where do they speak English? So Ottawa.
Ottawa. Okay, there you go. But you're saying Alex Burrows retired.
Yeah, no, it's otherwise a relatively productive career.
Yeah.
Yep. Undrafted.
I believe so.
Undrafted. Yeah.
Grinder.
Undrafted.
That's
Yeah.
for sure.
Played with the Sedins.
Yeah, like that was he had some good years in Vancouver. Like that was a really good team.
Yep. Undrafted.
But,
You got that right. You know, he had some big years. Look at his years. Like he had
just seemed
6,
like,
7.
It seemed like a shame how it kind of shook out. Yeah, that's. I thought maybe a fresh start in Ottawa was going to be a bit of a change for him, but that was it.
Yep. And there's a guy, and I'll jump in. There's a guy that grinded. All right, he played 2 years in 2000, 2001 with the Shawinigan Cataracts. Did I get that right, Brad? Yep. I did. Wow. Okay. First year, 30 points, and he improved to 70 the next year. You're going to see a trend here. His next year, he went to the Greenville Growl. Producer goes, tell me Growl. Wow. Okay. What kind of name is that? But one has 3 R's apparently. 3 R's in Growl. I didn't know that was a thing. Is this French? Sorry, that's not nice to say. 53 games, he had 26 points.
He's going to get his taken off.
And then Baton Rouge Kingfish the year after that. And then he played Columbia Inferno. 3 years in the EC. Then he went to AHL for a couple games and back to the East Coast. Then he went back to. Then he played for Manitoba Moose for a couple years in the AHL. Had a couple mediocre times. I'm not gonna lie. 26 and 30 points. And then the Vancouver Canucks is where he jumped into right after. So he went from the Q to the E, battled there, battled the A, and then he got lucky at camp. He played 43 games, got 12 points. Then he got 81 games, really had 9 points in 2006. Then get this, he improved to 31, 51, 67, 48, 52, 24, 15, 33, and started going down from there. But there's a guy who had 30 goal seasons in Vancouver, and there's a guy who had a definition of hard work and heart. All right, and there's a 37-year-old who's just retiring, never won a Stanley Cup as of yet. So he had a career that was a storybook one. I kind of wouldn't have mind seeing him lift the Stanley Cup because there's a guy who had to grind and work. And here's a guy who was a two-way guy. Look, a lot of penalty minutes. He had 179 in 1 year, he had 150 1 year. He grinded. And he was also famous for playing on the wing with the Sedin Twins, so who just also retired this year as well. So, Brad, I'll get your point with the Alex Burrows. You know, there's a guy who definitely earned his keep and had to work his ass off getting there.
Yeah, I mean, you got to respect a guy who went out and did what he needed to do to have a productive NHL career, right? I mean, this is a guy who, for all intents and purposes, did a lot more in his athletic life than any of the three of us. And combined.
A lot more.
Yeah. And it's not even, and on that note, it's not even close.
I got air on a Sea-Doo today. I've been doing tricks on a Sea-Doo. Can I say that on there? Is that
What
good?
does that have to do with athletic?
No,
Yeah.
it doesn't. That doesn't. Keep going, Brad.
I think Dave just wanted to brag about that a little bit.
Just had to throw it in there. It was
But
perfect
really,
timing.
I'm thinking our listeners are just like, yeah, okay, fine, that's great.
That's great. Yeah.
But yeah, Alex Burrows. Here's a guy who, he went out and had a productive NHL career, right? It's a shame that it ended the way it did. It's a shame that it ended with a franchise that's been
Trying to be nice and professional. I like that.
tire fire.
Or dumpster fire. I like the Cleveland Browns.
Dumpster fire. There are not many franchises, organizations in pro sports that can make the Cleveland Browns look good, but teams are trying.
Yeah.
But yeah, Alex Burrows. Give the guy credit. He had a long and productive NHL career, and here's a guy who he's gonna be able to go and enjoy retirement now.
Very, very, very good points. Triple very, because there's three of us. Now, Dave McKeag alongside Justin Heichel and Brad Cochimilio from SiouxToday.com. Keep throwing that in there for you, Brad. Gotta make sure I keep reminding you. That producer Ghost told me to make sure I keep doing that a bit more. Producer Ghost, he's a good guy.
Producer Ghost knows what he's talking about.
Yeah, producer Ghost sometimes knows what he's talking about. Might get a zap in the ear pretty soon. But we're going to take a quick break. We're going to hear from our sponsors. We're also going to have some new commercials that come out hopefully this week by yours truly recording. Maybe I can update some of the other commercials as well, make it all into one, because we have a lot of sponsors now, a lot of different commercials. So when we come back, we're just going to continue our roundtable hockey talk here. We got about 15 to 20 minutes left here on the show tops. So if that, as yours truly has a scheduling thing to do at 8 o'clock, and that means playing baseball. I'm going to throw that again out there. Make sure you come out to Ramfield to support some local baseball. So we'll be back after these messages on the Game Sports Show live from Silver Creek Golf Course. The Game Sports Show would like to thank an additional sponsor and additional home to the Game Sports Show, Sports Center Bar and Grill. Sports Center Bar and Grill, located on 624 Wellington Street West, Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario. Sports Center rated top sports bar for the second year in a row. At Sports Center, enjoy their famous 75-cent wing night along with delicious Molson products on tap, along with a great atmosphere and other great food options available as well. Sports Center Bar and Grill, the Sioux's best sports bar.
The Wicked Sister, Sault, Michigan. Check TripAdvisor, ranked right towards the top. Awarded the Certificate of Excellence, as well as voted #1 pub in the UP. The Wicked Sister has managed to create a casual menu that offers unique, creative, and sometimes healthy offerings that rivals menu selections of any big city. Burgers and starters, snacks and shareables, soups and salads, sandwiches and tapas. On Ashman Street, Sault, Michigan. Welcome to the Wicked Sister, where you'll be treated like family, whether you like it or not.
The Game Sports Show would like to thank a list of additional sponsors. North Shore Sports and Auto, new location located on 647 McDonald Avenue, Sault Ste. Marie. A family-owned and operated business with doing business in Sault Ste. Marie for over 10 years. Loads of products available for your enjoyment for all seasons. North Shore Sports and Auto, we understand the importance of quality service and products, and we work hard to ensure that all customers have a positive experience before and after each and every sale. North Shore Sports and Auto, meeting all of your new and pre-owned equipment needs. Special thanks to Salon. The Salon, located on 589 2nd Line East, Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario. Owned and operated by Mike Cuglietta. Book your appointment today at 705-941-9191 or via online at https://thesalonsioux.as.me-. The Salon, making the Sioux beautiful, one haircut at a time. As well as a shout out to the Superior Pro Shop. The Superior Pro Shop, located inside the Community First Credit Union Superior Arena, on 285 Northern Avenue East, Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario. Owned and operated by Jeremy Paquin and ran by Larry Monroe. Superior Pro Shop for over 40 years meet all of your skate sharpening, skate repair, and hockey needs. Also to Discover the Canvas. Discover the Canvas, located on 317 Wellington Street West, Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario. A beautiful new renovated building owned and operated by expert artist and Sioux native Katrina Thibodeau. Katrina taking her talents of the ink in Sault Ste. Marie and truly creating the best and most realistic art locally. Call Katrina today at 705-450-8099 or email her at discoverthecanvas@gmail.com to book your tattoo or consultation today.
Check out our brand new website up and running now at thegamesportshow.com. There you can find past broadcasts of all our shows from the Wicked Sister in Sault Ste. Marie, Michigan, and Boston Pizza and Sports Center Bar and Grill in Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario. As well, you can find our brand new t-shirts available for just $25 a shirt. All sizes are available and proceeds will go towards Northern Critters in Need and Big Brother, Big Sister of Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario. Now you can purchase the shirt by emailing thegamesportshowssm@gmail.com. Please state the total amount of shirts and size needed. They have payment options available, e-transfer or cash upon delivery, as a shirt can be delivered to your location if you live in the Sault Ste. Marie, Michigan, and Ontario area free of charge. TheGameSportsShow.com, where you find all your local, regional, and national sports that you just can't get enough of.
Hi, this is Paul Maurice from the Winnipeg Jets, and you're listening to the Game Sports Show.
Welcome back to the Game Sports Show. It is yours truly, David McKeag, alongside Brad Coachmelio from Saturday.com and from thegamesportshow.com. Producer Ghost said I should throw that in there as well. And Justin Heigl from your number1heart.com and thegamesportshow.com. I'm trying. I'm sorry. It's funny. It's funny. No, it's not funny. It's awkward. Okay, I tried. I tried to make a little humor with a U. How many U's in humor? Quick quiz.
2.
Good answer, Brad. There's 2. Yeah, see? Question. See? Is there 2? I like bringing that up. But anyways, fellas, we're going to continue for our talk from the first part. And now you guys brought up a topic. I'm going to bring up a topic. And then we're just going to talk about some random topics in the world of hockey before we conclude tonight's show. As I just grabbed Brad's phone from him because I was going to take some selfies to send out to the public. But next one. Colin Miller. That's where I'm going with this next topic. And the big reason is Colin Miller will be coming here live on location at Silver Creek Golf Course for a nice couple rounds. Well, I should say couple rounds, should be a round of golf with yours truly, but we'll also be doing a show here at Silver Creek right on the patio with Colin Miller. And the date that we are projecting for Colin Miller to be live on location is on the 26th of July or the 29th. So we're going to get that confirmed. And we also have Brendan Brooks coming on by next week. We have Matt DeCassini coming on by the week after. So we got some good guests coming here at Silver Creek Golf Course for that. I must be attracting them with the golf game. They want to see how bad I am at golf, I think. Because I don't know if you guys should go golfing or me. I think it's got to be me representing us. To go golf. That's great. I know who should represent us at golf is Dustin. Because Dustin Groff, if no one knows who that is, well, you should because you follow the show a lot. We have a lot of listeners, but he's the guy on maternity leave from the show, though, for a year. He's almost done that.
Through the grapevine that he's okay at golf.
Oh, he's very good. He's very good at golf. Maybe I'll go get him to represent our show. But you would have to be wearing his Molson attire for that, though. I would rather more the Game Sports Show attire, so I'm going to have to go out and do that. But anyways, back on topic. Colin Miller signs a 4-year, $15.8 million contract with the Vegas Golden Knights. Led all defensemen. This is not from producer Ghost. It's not from anybody. This is me knowing this. 10 goals, 31 assists, 41 points.
Must have read Sue today.
That was on your story on Sue Day. Oh, perfect. Okay, you can check out SueDay.com for Brad Cochimilio's story there about Colin Miller re-signing with the Vegas Golden Knights. Led all defensemen there. But, yes, Brad, I read that article. Anyway, Colin Miller has had a great turnaround. In terms of from going from LA, he got traded from LA to Boston. He got the short end of the stick with only 6 goals, 7 assists with the Boston Bruins. Didn't have that on your story, did you, Brad?
Actually, his career numbers just saying.
Oh, you did. Damn. See, I did read it.
If you read my story, you know he was drafted by LA.
For 5th round, 141 overall.
Was traded for Milan Lucic.
Oh, he was in the Milan Lucic trade. That's look at that. Damn, that's some nice stuff.
Martin Jones was the other player involved in that deal. Just saying.
And I was on the Sea-Doo. That's my excuse. Sea-Doo in the boat today. That's it, right there. No Wi-Fi on the water there. Colin Miller re-signing though. I'll jump into I'll lead off my topic, fellas. I gotta say that well deserved. Okay, the guy is, I think it's a 3.9. I know producer Ghost might have read it. 3875. Wow. The producer Ghost didn't even get back in my ear for that. Math is on the ball today. Well, I'm just feeling it. It's the water that got my eyes. I'll tell you right now, well deserved and very affordable. If Colin Miller comes out and does that year by year for that, that's a gamble. That is a steal. That is an STEAL. Jake Gardner, take some notes because that's who you have to model your game after is Colin Miller. That's a fair point.
Or did Colin model his game after Jake Gardner?
No. I'll ask him when he comes on the show who his favorite player was. If he ever says Jake Gardner, I might slap him. But then Vegas is going to kill me. But anyways, Colin Miller was a great move and a great, well-deserved for a man who worked up. There's a guy who worked his way into the National Hockey League as well. You know, he had to play high school hockey with the White Pines Wolverines under Mike Cowens, someone who trained me, believe it or not, in the off-season side of hockey.
Everyone has their mistakes.
Everyone has their mistakes, and mine was going to him. Just kidding. Wow, just kidding, Mike. But
the reason your nickname is Suitcase.
Yes, it is, because I have a big mouth. But then he goes to the Sault Ste. Marie Greyhounds. Great time with the Sault Ste. Marie Greyhounds. And he led the Sault Ste. Marie Greyhounds as a captain as well for a season. And, he went from there to play in the AHL where he did very well with Manchester Monarchs. Is that where? Yes.
Manchester Monarchs
yeah,
for 2 years.
2 years. There we go. It's like I know that, so I don't need to read a story for that. But, then he moves up from there to go to Boston after he gets traded from LA. And I think he spent some time in Providence as well, though, for a little bit before going there. And then he ended up going to Vegas where he absolutely tore it up and led the team in, I think, the special team minutes as well with the power play and the penalty kill. So, well-deserved. He's used in every situation. He's greatly improved, and he has shown that he can be a top pairing defenseman. He seems very comfortable there, and him and Nate Schmidt have grown very close as well. He seems very comfortable with Nate, and a great relationship there with him, and he was around a lot of veterans in that locker room, and we're hoping that he has a great season. And the reason why I want to bring up this topic is because of how well-deserved it was for him. And I'm going to go to Justin here first. So get your comments on Colin Miller resigning.
No, it's a pretty rock solid deal for Vegas, I think.
Tax free too.
Like that's a pretty reasonable contract for a defenseman, just with those kind of numbers this season.
40-point guy, yeah.
And I think it's a comfortable deal for him. He's kind of been bounced around the last couple of years. This gives him a place to settle in with a group of players and kind of make the team their own. And, I mean, it's good for him. That's definitely a big upgrade from what he was making before, for sure.
Yeah, yeah.
It gives him some stability, and I mean, really, staying in Vegas can't be a hard decision.
Nope, especially with
unless
that.
you're James Neal.
I don't know why James Neal left. That's what's going to be my next thing. To go
to
somebody who
Calgary,
left.
yeah.
It must have been the money. I don't. Maybe Vegas didn't offer him the money. Maybe Vegas was looking at it from the front of trying to, get some younger guys to grow. They got Cody Glass in the system there. They got Suzuki, I think, in that system as well. Nick Suzuki, who played for Windsor, I believe is Owen Sound. Played for Owen Sound. So they have some good prospects coming up. Maybe they're paying on that. They didn't expect to go to the Cup Finals this year. And Colin Miller was a big part of why they did, along with a lot of players who had a great season. I think, we talked about it on a previous edition of the Game Sports Show about who played very well and had improved numbers. You can listen to that edition. I believe it was one of the May editions that we had on the Game Sports Show. We talked about the number improvements that I also shared on my Facebook as well, so you can check that out. But Brad, I'll slide over to you about Colin Miller. I know you talked about in your story. Maybe quote some stuff from your story and also get some additional comments maybe that you couldn't add in your story that maybe thought of after you hit post on that.
Yeah, it's what I mean. That's like Justin said, that's a deal that's real solid for both sides. I mean, this is a guy who had 40 points last year. It's a career year. I mean, he had I think he had 17 points on the power play last year for Vegas. So he's a guy who's going to go out and put up some numbers on the man advantage, and it gives him some stability with a team that showed some faith in him. I mean, not that the Boston Bruins didn't, but
Too deep back there.
it's it's a team that Vegas is a team that brought him in, let him settle, give him minutes, and he flourished. I mean, it's plain and simple. He's a good kid. He's a good kid in the room, which helps obviously.
Must be from the Sioux.
Yeah, it must be a Sioux thing. But yeah, I mean, for a guy who put up the numbers he did last year, that's a solid contract for both sides. I mean, it's a reasonable price.
Yep.
If you're Vegas, that's for me, a guy who puts up 40 to 50 points, that's a comfortable cap hit for me, no question about it.
Oh, that's a gamble. That was the one thing I thought maybe he could have commanded more. And no offense, Colin. Maybe he could have a couple extra 100,000 and give it to your buddy Dave. Just kidding. I'm that broke. I'm getting that desperate. Next, the next thing is, we talked about our three topics we're going to bring up. We're going to bring up some random points now. We got about 7 to 8 to 9 minutes tops where we have to conclude our show. It's going to be a quick edition of our debut here at Silver Creek Golf Course. I'll start it off by spearheading this, fellas, and just some rumors around the National Hockey League. Max Pacioretty. Rumors of him going to the Pittsburgh Penguins. Now, listen, one big thing I want to bring up here is, and I think, Justin, you'll be able to echo this a lot, and yourself, Brad, numbers, people here, maybe producer Ghost might have to throw us some stats in there for us, but Pittsburgh's cap hit, they have $2 million in cap space. Pacioretty's is over $6 million. I think it's 6.7. I know I'll get corrected if that's wrong, but 6.7. And that means Pittsburgh has for about $4 million in cap space. Where is that money? Where are they going to afford this? Are they trading Chris Letang? There's no way. I really don't. I know they've won the Cup without Letang, okay, but there's no way you're moving Letang. That's your anchor on that decor, even though he is injury prone the last couple of years. Do you think this is just some BS rumors that we're reading online? Because I can't see him going to Pittsburgh Penguins. I see possibly a good fit for him if you want to throw him on the Islanders. Believe it or not, I'm throwing them there. The Rangers, team that does want to buy a little bit. There might be a good team called the Las Vegas Golden Knights that lost a left winger, James Neal and David Perron. They lost two guys. Why wouldn't they be in the Max Pacioretty sweepstakes? And he's being shopped. And even we can tie Carey Price into this as well later on as we conclude the topic, because there's some article that you said, Justin, about Carey Price. No, Montreal shouldn't trade him. Should trade. Yeah, they should trade him. Sorry, it was should trade him. And they're in full sell mode, but the topic right now is Pacioretty at Pittsburgh. And
bye, guys.
Also, if you can comment if you think that's true or not, and if you any possible destinations. Brad, you first.
You know what I mean? For Pittsburgh, I always see where there's smoke, there's fire. There's potential. I mean, I wouldn't be shocked if Pittsburgh had some interest in him. I mean, I think he's a guy who, could be very productive there. I mean, he's going to be productive wherever he goes. The biggest thing is you can be over the cap during the summer, but you have a certain point when you have to be under, that $79 million cap hit.
Yeah.
So that's a situation where conceivably you make that move, then you have X amount of time to get under the cap again. Whether it's a few weeks or whatever it is. So, that's a situation where you could conceivably make that deal. And, it's almost the idea of shoot first, ask questions later. Make the deal, get it done, get them into the system, and then decide what you're going to do in terms of moving contract to get under the cap.
Contracts.
But at the end of the day, it doesn't necessarily mean that you have to move one guy to make that difference.
No.
You could conceivably move, if it's if we're talking about a $4 million difference, conceivably you could move three or four guys to cover that, under the idea that you're going to have some prospects coming up that are probably going to crack your roster.
And anyone who plays with Sidney Crosby is going to be pretty good. Or Evgeny Malkin or Derek Brassard. There's another guy. You can also move Brian Rust to that third line center as well. And Brian Rust being a guy who we're also trying to get on the show as well. Live on location might be a little bit tough as he travels back and forth all the time. But getting to the point of Max Pacioretty, Justin, what do you think?
You basically just have to look at Pittsburgh's roster and see who would they want to get rid of. What contract seems like a giant albatross.
Dang.
If they're going to do a move like that, I feel like it's probably Kessel.
Kessel going to Arizona?
Or anywhere. Anywhere.
Yeah, whatever moves that money to free up that.
Would you rather Pacioretty or Kessel?
I would rather Kessel.
Yeah, so why would they bring in
And
Pacioretty?
the going rumor that I've heard on Pacioretty is he's going to Florida or nowhere. He's told Montreal that he wants to go to Florida, and that's it. So, I don't... The whole situation seems really, really dramatic.
It does. Why does he want to go to Florida? Because it's tax-free? I don't get it. Go to Vegas. Why would he want to go to Vegas?
No one cares. You can go there, make millions of dollars to play hockey and not win.
Bold statement, not win. The only team in Florida that's being successful right now is the Tampa Bay Lightning. A couple more points that we're going to bring up, fellas, before we conclude today's show here at Silver Creek. It's Dave McKay alongside Justin Heichel and Brad Cochimilio, and the Warm Air is also welcome us, and Producer Ghost. I like bringing in Producer Ghost. Patrick Maroon, St. Louis Blues bound. Apparently seems almost like a done deal. St. Louis Blues are making a lot of splashes. They bring in Tyler Bozak. They want
A lot of value signings.
the David Perron. They brought him on the wing. You have Patrick Maroon who could be on the wing. You got Tarasenko already on the wing. You got Steen who could play wing and center. They already moved Berglund, and they brought in Ryan O'Reilly. They've made some good moves this offseason, St. Louis, and they haven't gotten rid of too many draft choices. I think there was a pick involved in that St. Louis and Buffalo trade, but we don't have to dive into the certain formalities of the trade. Just whom they got was the big important thing. And if St. Louis if this does happen for him going to St. Louis, I think it's a great signing all around. I think that is a great fit for that. So another thing we're going to bring up as well, get you guys' reaction. We're going to move on from the Maroon thing. I just want to share that rumor. Alexander Ovechkin showed up to the World Cup with the Stanley Cup. Has this guy been sober once?
I don't know. It was kind of cool to see the picture of him in his childhood bed with the Stanley Cup. I think that one was neat. But no, I don't think this guy stopped partying for a month now. Good for him.
Yeah. I don't think he even cares about hockey now anymore. He won the cup. He's done. I think he's done. No, he's. I'm just kidding. He's not done. But he's. I've never seen somebody so happy that they've won a Stanley Cup. He is partying like it's 1969, and that's a Bryan Adams song. The summer of '69.
What's wrong with
Wow. And then you just send it over to me, expecting me to clean up after you as usual. And to go back to the whole idea of Pittsburgh and their cap situation. I mean, if you're looking at bringing in Max Pacioretty, what about a guy like Olli Maatta? Olli Maatta's cap hit for next year is a little over $4 million. And he's a guy who might get you. He's a guy who might get you something. I mean, you've already brought in Jack Johnson. Would you consider?
I like the Jack Johnson signing a lot.
No, absolutely. And to put it in perspective, I believe Jack Johnson's cap hit is less than Ole Mattis.
3.75.
Yeah, and
Producer goes.
and Ole Mattis is over 4. Just saying. I mean, that might be an option.
So you keep Kessler and you move Matto.
Yeah.
Good point.
You move a defenseman instead.
Now, we've talked about Ovi partying really hard. There's a team that's really not partying hard this offseason. They seem to be very quiet. They seem like they're following behind a little bit, despite making a Yaroslav Halak. You know, they made a little bit of. I guess they haven't. I guess they've entered the bar, but they haven't been partying a whole bunch and keeping up with the Toronto Maple Leafs or the St. Louis Blues in terms of drinking. I guess if you want to go with that analogy that I'm continuing. But the Boston Bruins, they're falling behind in terms of. You look at it, the Leafs improvements. Not defensively yet, but forwards-wise, Tampa Bay, especially if they get Erik Karlsson, that's just something that's just unfair. And then you have, Florida, who's kind of been a bit behind, and you have the Ottawa Senators, who, well, we don't need to go there. So, do you think that the Bruins are falling behind, or do you think they're staying the course on purpose? Justin, you first.
I think they're probably at least a step behind right now in terms of putting a comparable lineup or a lineup that's going to compete with the Tampas, the Torontos,
the Torontos. Doesn't that feel good to say?
Well,
I know we're on a professional sport, like we talk sports and we talk all teams. We shouldn't show any bias, but
like I'm not trying to sound arrogant with it, but it's just fact. I mean, you look at the roster on paper and you look at Boston's roster on paper. What stands out?
Number 91.
The fact that Chara's still on the Bruins. Like, honestly, the fact that Krejci makes as much money as he does?
7.5.
Like, what are the big things that stand out on Boston's roster?
Exactly. They made the second round this year, and due to the Gardiner Expressway. Brad.
You're never going to settle on this whole Jake Gardiner thing, are you? and you know what I mean? Yeah, Boston is, taking a step back. I mean, they're, their relevancy is going down. I mean, I think it's that simple.
Their window of winning is closing.
Yeah, it's closed a lot.
They've won a cup, though.
Yeah, but, I mean, the goal isn't just to win one.
No.
The goal is to win every year. I mean, there's a reason that every team says they want to win the last game of the season. And it's no different at any level. And, if you're... Boston just it surprises me that they haven't been more active. I feel like I expected them, like, knowing that there was the potential for Toronto to be in on the Tavares sweepstakes. Like, they knew. Everyone knew that Toronto was one of the teams that was going to be in on that. So you have to think that Boston, even if you're not in on John Tavares, you have to think Boston. And I mean, not saying that they didn't, but you almost have to think that they would have had to jump in more and try to bring in some names, whether it's by trade or by signing, and they haven't done that. I mean, they're definitely a step behind, without a shadow of a doubt.
Oh, they are. Now, fellas, I was going to jump into the multiple choice segment because people don't know the multiple choice segment, well, been living under a rock has been around for the show for a long time. So the multiple choice segment we will be continuing again next week. The reason why I took a couple weeks off is because of our changes in schedule due to the show. So we will have the multiple choice next week along with the trivia. The multiple choice will be at the Boston Pizza edition next week. The trivia will be at the Silver Creek edition next week, and I'll get to the agenda at the wrap-up point of the show. One more thing I wanted to bring up before we wrap up today's show is the power rankings for the offseason thus far. Grades. Quickly, let's go around the table. I'm going to start with Brad, then Justin, and conclude with myself. About what you think the top 5 teams have been this offseason so far in terms of power rankings. Not power rankings who's going to win the Stanley Cup. Just power rankings on grades in the offseason. Brad?
Yeah, if we're strictly talking off-season movement, obviously Toronto's got to be, they signed the big fish.
Yeah.
I mean, that puts them at the top of the list. I mean, it's, as weird as it's going to sound, like I almost, and now that I've had a couple days to think about it, I really like what Detroit did. They brought in some guys that were reasonably priced, some veterans that are reasonably priced, that they can move at the deadline if they want to, and get decent returns for. Like, I mean, I'm not saying they're going to get a high return for Mike Green, but that's a team that's going to get that's the team that's going to get
Probably
picks.
first.
Yeah, like they could potentially get a first and like a third.
Yep.
And maybe like a mid-range prospect for him.
That's nice.
You know, Thomas Vanek's another guy. Thomas Vanek, the last time he was in Detroit, had a great year.
Yep.
On a bad team. He had a great year on a terrible team. So, you know, he's a guy who could get a return. And, you know, that's a team that they're going to be looking at moving a goalie. They've got Jimmy Howard and Jonathan Bernier now. That's a team that's going to be looking at moving a goalie, maybe getting younger in goal. I mean, part of that situation of signing Jonathan Bernier is, you know, they're not very deep in goal as far as prospects right now. So, you know, they're in a situation where, you know, they need to make a move. So, you know, for me, those are two teams that, you know, did extremely well. I mean, you know, obviously Toronto's the one.
Detroit, three
know.
more for you? You think of three, top of your head?
You know what? I mean, it's weird. There have been no teams that have really, aside from those two, that really stood out to me. I mean, I like Calgary signing James Neal. I like them. Yeah, I like them bringing in Neal. I mean, Arizona, and that's a team that's
Grabner.
Probably gotten better this summer.
Yep.
You know, in terms of between the draft and free agency. I mean, you know, I think there's, you know, kind of, you know, Toronto and then everyone else right now. I mean, I think that's kind of what it is.
Can you say that one more time? Huh? Toronto?
Typical Leaf fan. To my right.
And to your front right.
Yeah. And to my
Front, there it is. It finally came out after a month. The front right. Justin, top five.
Right, considering he's right in front of me.
Top five, I mean, obviously, I'm going to say Toronto. Then Detroit's draft was stellar.
Yeah.
Stellar. Yeah.
So,
as always.
And like we talked on Friday's show, just the signings they have to kind of bridge them right now. Like, what do you think Detroit's on going in the right direction? I also really like Washington just re-signing everyone.
Oh, yeah.
So they're going into next season looking very similar. People are probably going to look at me like I'm bonkers on this, but maybe the Islanders are probably a little bit better as
Due to the
addition
draft.
by subtraction.
Mm-hmm. Free up cap space.
Well, that's the thing. Your cap space is a lot healthier. You've got
yes.
some guys coming up, and with those guys coming up, it buys you the time to focus on the areas of need, like an arena. But I mean, the San Jose Sharks also had a really, really good offseason, fleecing Ottawa and that Hoffman deal. I like to see that. It's good. Good to see.
Dumpster fire.
The Evander Kane signing.
Yeah, that was a really good signing.
Re-signing a couple of their big guys. So, San Jose's looking good. And LA. LA's going, firing up the hot tub time machine. They're going to go back to 2013, or was it 2013 to win that cup again?
2012 or 2013.
2012, yeah, one of those years. But they had some interesting moves there too. So I don't know, all in all. But Toronto's the big dog there.
Yeah.
They really threw it on the table and made a thud.
You know what that means? If all my friends were talking about the threw it on the table. See if anyone can catch on to that one. I'll go with my quick top five, very quick and straightforward. Number one, the Toronto Maple Leafs. Number two, the St. Louis Blues are mine because of what they've done. Great serviceable signings. I think they overpaid for Bozak, though, but hey, that's the market. Sucks to suck. The third one, I'm going to go with the Detroit Red Wings due to the draft. My God, they always have a good draft. I just can't believe it. Fourth, I'm going to go Calgary. I like the signing for James Neal. People don't, but they paid 1.5, almost 1.5. It's actually 1.25, but I kind of want to round up. Less than what Philly paid JVR. So I think JVR is a better upside than James Neal still due to being younger, but hey, James Neal has been pretty clutch, and he's been scoring 30 goals a year still. So I got to give Calgary that benefit there. And for number four, I really want to stick to I can't believe I'm saying this, the Buffalo Sabres. Due to their draft, if I'm saying offseason with the draft and the free agency, they signed Rasmus Dahlin. They moved out Ryan O'Reilly's contract. They're opening up some cap space. They're really going towards that rebuild. So I got to give them a number four. And people are wondering if I'm going to make Montreal number five. as a joke, but I'm just kidding. You have the worst offseason, and your GM needs to go before you start making adjustments. But I'm going to go with the fifth team. I'm going to really stick out here, and I couldn't agree with Brad more with Arizona. I think Arizona got better this year in terms of, they made a 5th overall pick with Sault Ste. Marie, Barrett Hayton, and they bring in Grabner. They re-signed Ekman Larson. They made some moves to keep players bound on that team to try to ascend to the right direction in that organization, try to bring fans in the seats, and also bring popularity back for the world of hockey in Arizona and in Glendale. Because that's what they play out of. I know my geography. Just kidding.
You know something.
At least I know something. Fellas, we're going to wrap up today's show as yours truly has to jolt to Ram Field to play some open pitch baseball and bat leadoff and hopefully get a couple strikeouts. There it is. So I'm going to say bye to you, Justin.
See you, buddy. See you on, Thursday this week?
Yes, it'll be Thursday, and this Thursday we actually are planning to be at Silver Creek Golf Course. This Thursday, we plan to be here on Thursday. Now, yours truly is on holidays. I will let you know the times, but we're aiming for the time here in Silver Creek to be at probably 6:30. Around that area, 7 o'clock. We will confirm that. So listen to the Monday and Wednesday show, as we have a Monday show at the Wicked Sister, and we have a Wednesday show at Sports Center, again, back-to-back weeks. Even though it's a summer show at Wednesday, we're making up for a week that we missed. Jamie and I, so we'll be at Sports Center. So listen to both shows, and we'll remind you of the agenda. And Sunday, this upcoming week, we'll be at Boston Pizza. That's going to be the schedule. Thursday, Silver Creek. Sunday, Boston Pizza. Brad. Best hair from SuitDay.com. Looking great. Great smile as always. Blah, blah, blah. How you doing, Eric? How you doing? Yeah. How you doing, Asa? How you doing? No. Okay, I'm just trying to be funny now. Brad, have a good night, pal.
Thanks, buddy. Thanks for having me on. Thanks for bringing me in.
Absolutely. You're part of the staff, so kind of forced to bring you in now. Wow. Wow. Sorry, I went for the nice one. Just kidding.
Right,
make sure you check out Brad Cochimilio's live blogs are from SuitDay.com. Fantastic job, as always. I did read your article with Colin Miller. Yeah, I see. But anyway, I had to say that. So I'm going to let these two go home and say thanks to Scott Nason, the board operator tonight, as always, to Silver Creek Golf Course staff, and to you, the listeners, as always, tuning in. Make sure you follow us at thegamesportshow.podbean.com. Go to the website, www.thegamesportshow.com. Purchase our merchandise. We have shirts available. $25 of proceeds going towards charity, and you get to donate to a great cause, one of the careers in need, and Big Brother, Big Sister. We're going to be at the Wicked Sister tomorrow, which is Monday, myself and Scott Nason. Wednesday at Sports Center Bar and Grill. Thursday here at Silver Creek again, and Sunday we'll be at Boston Pizza, Sault Ste. Marie. So, getting to the conclusion portion of the show. Keep your stick on the ice, swing your bat, catch your touchdown, drain your threes, and shoot your shots. Booyah.